Dude, what was that noise?
It's my koi pond pump.
Turn that shit off. We're trying to do a podcast.
It will literally kill my koi fish if I do. Their oxygen is dependent on that pump running.
All right, leave it on then. Welcome back to Far Out Flicks. I'm your host, Braden. With me is Andrew over there with his koi fish.
I can introduce myself.
Do it.
I can't. You did it for me. We're past it now.
Oh, man. Today we're going to be doing The Big Lebowski, as you probably already know.
Yeah, you clicked on it.
Great movie. You clicked on it.
I mean, also, welcome to Far Out Flicks. Listen, dude. Dude. We are so excited that you guys are tuning in today. I have actually been, we didn't even talk about this in the pre-show, but I have been ecstatic for this moment because I'm giving a very special fan shout out to our number one fan, Troy. Troy, you kept us going. You kept us alive, man. That fucking comment. Yes.
He left some very kind words right at our darkest moment.
I was also
right at the darkest hour.
So excited to see that Troy is like a totally normal person and he isn't like living in a fucking shack in the middle of Montana writing a manifesto. So Troy, we're fucking thrilled.
Troy,
thrilled to have
thank
you.
you.
Fan shout out. We said we would do it.
OG Flicker.
At least in like 3 episodes endings, we were like, if you leave a comment, we'll fucking shout out to you. And like, here it is, delivered. Stand and deliver, motherfuckers. Troy!
You're the man, Troy.
Dude, Troy the boy. I mean, Troy... Sorry, alright, sorry. Had to get that out. Had to get that...
Hey, get it out.
Get it
no,
done. Get it.
He deserves that.
Start of the episode.
Yeah, we took last week off while I was moving. I want everyone to know that went pretty well.
To sunny Raleighwood.
My new place is a townhouse, and it is in between 2 units. On one side is a literal crime scene where someone was murdered.
Yeah, I helped him move in, and that I couldn't help but notice the Wake County Sheriff's Office padlock on the door.
And also all the Clorox bleach on the porch.
Yeah, there was
like they're literally cleaning up a violent crime scene.
It was it was
kind of fun.
It was something.
Then on the other side of me, I have 2 drug dealers, so at least I won't have to go far to get my shit.
But they drug deal together as a couple.
Yes, they're not rivals.
They're not rivals in the same house. That'd be crazy. But they're.
I mean, they might have been rivals with the previous tenant on the other side.
I don't think that they killed them, but I do think that it is a family affair. So I mean,
I'm afraid to ask.
It's like, yeah,
just let it be.
They have a wholesome family operation going on, and don't you?
That's true. This is America.
I mean, we haven't given addresses out, and please don't find his address. That's so fucking weird. But, family affair.
Better than making a puppet out of me. That's still my greatest fear.
I'm just gonna say it. A family that sells drugs together stays together.
I like it.
It's better than like a loner or some lone dude selling drugs beside you. That'd be worse.
It's better than people who sell insurance.
Yeah, that's like literally a pact with the devil.
Or people who are in marketing.
It's a pact with the devil, and you're goddamn required to do it in the state of North Carolina. It's fucked up. Fucked up.
Oh man!
You drive a car at any rate. You know what I mean? You could.
Yes.
You don't need life insurance. I mean, you do. Your family.
I mean, you might as well go ahead and tell our flickers out there what you plan on doing with your hefty life insurance plan.
So, I guess, yeah, we'll share it with everybody. So it's definitely on record. And
it's a social contract with the people.
And my family cannot ignore my wishes because there will be dozens, if not hundreds of you who will protest it. So when I die, I want the funeral to be held in like this big big grassy field. Think like a Windows background from, the early 90s. But I want there to be this like large 3-piece velvet curtain wall behind the casket. So everybody will be ushered in and they'll see the velvet curtain and the casket will be up front. And what they don't see is that behind said curtain is a replica trebuchet that is tethered to my casket. And
which, for anyone who doesn't know, that's similar to a catapult, a medieval siege weapon.
It's better than a catapult, but we won't get into the details of that right now. It's a superior piece of technology. And that's why I'm using it instead of a catapult. So trebuchet behind the curtain, and at like a selected moment during the procession, somebody behind the curtain will trigger the catapult, and it will hurtle my coffin and carcass towards a pre-excavated hole in the ground. Like, we'll call it 20 by 20. We'll make it big so they've got a decent chance of getting it in with just like a piece of heavy equipment, a fucking bulldozer, ready to either push the dirt in or, God forbid, my math is off. Push me and the splintered remains of my coffin into the hole. But of course, the velvet curtain will pull aside in this moment for all to see. And if, like, I don't know, if my kids don't think that is fucking hilarious, then like I failed as a parent, and they got none of me. They got all their mom or something. If they're like ashamed and disgusted, I mean, I get the potentially visceral nature of the miss, but like I'm counting on making that basket. It's my last shot. I'm a basketball player.
That's good.
It's my thing.
I like it.
It's my last shot into the fucking ground.
A few things I want to say about this.
Okay.
First of all, so everyone knows, Andrew has taken out a concerning amount of life insurance policies on himself.
It's a healthy, reasonable amount given my
slightly concerning
wishes.
As his friend, but that is how he intends to pay for said trebuchet, and I have committed to hiring the engineer who will build it. That is my part.
I think it'll probably be a rental, right? Like somebody's got a trebuchet somewhere. It's got to be cheaper to rent. I will personally go to Ren fairs across the country and find this thing. Second of all, I want to say it's fucking badass. I like it a lot. It kind of reminds me of Hunter S. Thompson when he died, he had his remains shot out of a giant cannon that was like shaped like the fist with the mescaline buttons. Yeah, Johnny Depp paid for that. Fun.
Johnny Depp paid for that, which is pretty badass.
Pretty wild.
Hopefully we'll have a celebrity intervention who will pay for your thing. And third, I'm just concerned, like, you're a big dude. This is going to have to be a sturdy casket, because I would think that the force of that might just immediately break open the box and throw your body into the crowd.
You guys can trim the love handles and everything else off with like a fucking turkey carver. And if you want to eat somebody, here's your chance now. I mean, it's probably like a gross corpse at that point, so you don't want it. I would have been dead for a while. But if you stumble upon me fresh, go ahead and take a chunk. Take a little bit of the souvenir, something to forever be part of you.
Interesting. Well,
I give you my permission. You can eat.
It's kind of fun. I like it.
You can eat a chunk.
I like it. Well, we're going to make sure that happens, right, Flickers?
Dude, please. I mean, I'm serious. It needs to happen. This has been my wish since high school. I thought of this in high school, and it's been like in my head ever since. And like, everyone else be damned, I'm going to be true to 18-year-old me.
It's a pretty good final hurrah, if I do say so myself.
If you don't do anything else, that'll get you in a history book somewhere. Like somebody's going to make a note of that.
That'll be on your Wikipedia page.
Hopefully it's on the fucking
Wikipedia
tombstone.
worthy.
If I even... I want an etching of the trebuchet. Oh my God, listen to me.
His corpse was launched with the trebuchet.
Yeah, just an etching of a trebuchet.
Badass.
And me soaring through the air like Superman.
I've already committed my... I will help you with that.
You have to outlive me first.
That's true. Well, at the rate we're going, that's
Coin toss,
nearly
baby.
inevitable. Just the fact that I haven't taken out any life insurance policies on myself means I intend on living.
For forever, right?
For forever.
Woo.
Even if I have to upload myself to the mainframe.
I mean, I'm also willing to do that, but then they can definitely do whatever they want with my body. You know, if I can...
I mean, my grandmother donated her body to science, and they paid her $75 and while she was alive. And I think, you know, that'll buy a few cases of beer.
It will.
And that sounds like a pretty good night.
Yeah, it's got your last couple nights covered, you know.
So, should we jump into today's film?
Christ, yeah, I mean...
Or should we talk
after
about how
that-
someone definitely fucked a monkey, and that's where this monkeypox shit's from?
I think that, I mean...
Stop fucking monkeys.
Animals. I'll expand that. Just stop fucking animals.
In Japan, I guarantee you can get a monkey sex doll.
I'm
And
sure.
they're online.
Again,
I'm
I mean,
sure.
you can get fictional animal character sex dolls. That's the thing. We talk about it a lot.
You can get Abu from Aladdin.
we talk
I
about
promise
sex
you.
dolls a
It's out
lot.
there somewhere.
But somebody did rape a primate, and that's not cool, especially if it does look...
No one wants to say it. It's not PC, but let's be real.
Somebody fucked a monkey.
Someone fucked up. Okay. Anyway, just had to throw that out there.
Hey, you
That's
brought
my...
it up. Don't fucking sit there
I
and
mean-
sigh at me. Like, you know...
Hopefully that doesn't get our episode flagged for misinformation on Spotify, but
It would
you
be
know.
a badge of honor to be flagged for that. That's
That could also be on your Wikipedia page.
yeah. I mean, God, if they'll even let me have one, I hope so. Someday we'll be famous enough for a wiki page. I had a wiki page in high school back when it was like real fast and loose. You could slip an article in, and the mods wouldn't catch it for a while.
I'm sure you can go on the internet and just pay for someone to create one.
I think it has to have like X amount of sources for it to stay up for any amount of time.
One day, the Far Out Flicks will have a wiki
And
page.
they wonder
But
why I will never donate money to them, no matter how many times they fucking ask me. It's like, let me make wiki pages about myself, and I will fucking donate way more than what I'm willing to right now, which is 0.
I mean, you're donating money so that you don't receive ads, but the catch-22 is it's nothing but ads asking you to donate money.
Wikipedia is going to block both of our IPs for being insubordinate. Fucking...
Now we'll never get a wiki page.
No, dude, we'll
Fuck 'em.
never have a wiki page again unless we go to a library or something.
All right. Well, anyway, this week, The Big Lebowski. Fucking awesome movie.
Yeah.
I've always loved this movie.
This is our first Coen Brothers movie.
It is, and that's kind of... They have a lot of Far Out flicks, and I don't even know that it's necessarily my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but it has maybe had the biggest impact on me.
All right,
Out of
spur
all
of the
of them.
moment, what is your favorite Coen Brothers movie?
I kind of like No Country for Old Men.
Fuck, it's a really good movie.
That's a really good fucking movie.
I think,
maybe not as far out in some ways, but it's a really fucking good movie. And it's... Yeah, that's just a really fucking good movie.
I think probably Fargo for me, but No Brother Where Art Thou has a very special place in my heart. My dad loved that movie, and it's got a fucking awesome soundtrack.
Who doesn't love that movie?
It's so
amazing.
likable.
All of their movies have a badass soundtrack. I consider that to be one of the hallmarks of this film as well. It's got a few standout songs that I will forever associate with The Big Lebowski.
But Fargo, so nice they made it twice into a multi-season TV series. So,
Also extremely good with Billy Bob Thornton. That first
oh my
season.
god,
Holy
he is
fuck.
so good in that fucking first season.
He's one of my favorite
And
actors.
also Martin
easily.
Freeman does a great job, even though he's a fucking limey. You know, he plays a Midwesterner just great. He does,
Nice.
yeah. Or he doesn't. I don't know. Midwesterner fans, let us know. Did Martin Freeman do your region justice?
I was watching some weird show where Sam Neill was playing a Midwesterner. Speaking of Sam Neill, obligatory Sam Neill shout out.
Every chance we get. Sam
He
Neill.
still hasn't answered any of my messages.
I'll send him some. We'll come from 2 angles.
I hope that all the flickers can start sending him messages.
Yeah, let him know
on
that we
Instagram.
love Sam Neill. God, it's.
Let him know that we want him. I mean, what?
It hurts me.
We want him to
how
be a
little
guest
he
on the
wants
show.
us. Does he not want us because we want him too much?
Well, I think, you know,
That's probably.
he's got a lot of demands from his fans out there, and maybe we're not quite on his radar yet, but just give it time. Sam Neill of Jurassic Park and, you know, Event Horizon, In the Mouth of Madness, for those who don't know.
Episode motherfucking 2?
Yes.
Yeah. Not a good episode. Don't
Well,
don't
I mean,
go
we
back
were
unless
hammered.
you're really bored.
We were hammered.
We were fucking lit.
Anyone who listens to any of the early ones, what we used to do is watch the movie, drink beer throughout the whole film.
So
and then we would record and continue drinking. But by the time we were doing the episode, we were officially drunk as shit.
I keep my shit together better, but I was also drunk.
Yes, now I drink coffee, and it's better for me.
I actually I have an upcoming birthday. It's looming. So I've been drinking this week as the hours count down to celebrate one more annum. But I've been sipping on, of course, for this film, The White Russian. Like, at least trying to tangentially touch on the fucking movie we're supposed to be talking about.
That is the drink of this film. That's the official dudist drink. Basically a melted ice cream drink.
It is.
Which will make me shit if I have too many, but...
It's how I found out I was lactose intolerant.
That's the way of the world.
But they're so good. I mean, God.
They are
it's
delicious.
Worth a lactate
Nothing
or whatever.
beats... I mean, yeah, worthy.
But it is the perfect storm. I mean, it's hard liquor and
It's the perfect
and dairy.
storm.
Like, it's coming.
Just immediately curdles in the glass.
Yeah, dude, it's coming for you.
Okay, but back to the big... I mean, that is a hallmark of this
Yeah,
film.
that's our transition into doing our job.
But I guess kind of getting into it, this, as we mentioned before, this film is written and directed by the Coen brothers, who have done just a fucking bunch of good films. And this film was actually the follow-up to Fargo, which was their first major hit.
Won an Oscar.
Yeah, I think it won too. And it was a critical and commercial success. And there were high expectations for their next outing, which was The Big Lebowski. And it ended up being a huge flop and was pulled from theaters early after only 6 weeks.
Yeah, it grossed roughly like twice its budget, which is not spectacular.
So maybe I overstated that it was a flop, but it definitely... It did not reach the high expectations laid out by Fargo.
It had mixed critical reviews as well. One critic from the Toronto Star basically like ragged the fuck out of it, and then in 2014 changed his opinion and said it's my favorite Coen Brothers movie. So
a lot of them did that, and it's like, all right, that's why critics are full of shit.
I mean, I'll say the movie grew on me. The first time I watched it, I was like, okay, it's like kind of cool, fucking neo-noir with a deadbeat protagonist. Like, that's fun. But I wasn't like blown away. And the more times I have watched it, the more engrossed and in love with this movie I have become.
Well, I think you could say that's almost how society as a whole feels about it. It's gone on to have a crazy life of its own. It has a very hardcore fandom. There's a lot of Big Lebowski fans out there. I don't know of any... It has a cult status that is just insane.
In college, me and one of my best friends went as the Dude and Walter.
Nice. You were Walter, right?
I was, which is like weird because like... He definitely could have pulled Walter off better than me.
But your personality is a little Walter-ish.
Well, now in college it wasn't. You know, I was...
Fair.
I was still forming at that point. I was unshaped clay.
Yeah, when I was rewatching this film this week, I was like, yeah, Andrew is a little Walterish.
I don't like going any.
He's gotten
like,
a little nutty.
I don't do any like Vietnam War diatribes or anything.
But if you could, you would.
I mean,
I have no doubt.
I like guns. All right, so we gotta get it out there. Hopefully, it doesn't lose any listeners. I don't like guns in a weird way. I just like.
I mean, it's not the best week to be announcing that.
Oh
but,
Christ, you're right.
But back to the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, we might as well just plan.
You're a little Walterish, Andrew. I think. I think we've established that. Andrew also gets angry and tries to. And talks about violence. But, yeah, this movie has had a life of its own. There's a Lebowski Fest that's held every year where people dress up like the characters. It was first held in 2002 in Louisville, Kentucky, and now it's held in a different city every year. Jeff Bridges actually performed at Lebowski Fest. Well, first off, I want to mention that he is a real-life musician, and his band is called The Abiders, which is a nod to The Big Lebowski.
Indeed.
And he performed the song A Man in Me from the movie, the Bob Dylan song, which is... I associate that song so much with this film.
Same, and it is like also maybe my favorite Bob Dylan song.
Have you ever heard the album that it's from? It's kind of lesser known. It's called New Morning, and... I used to have it on vinyl, and it's a phenomenal album. You should check it out.
I'll put it on after our recording sesh.
The whole album is fucking good. It's weird, it's different, but as is a lot of Bob Dylan shit. But I'm a Bob Dylan fanatic, and I used to spin that one all the time.
I will hunt it down.
Do it. Also, this movie is the only one I can think of that has spawned an entire religion. I know of no others. There's a religion based off this movie. When they say it has cult status, there is literally a cult.
What was the Scientology? I mean, it's not in the correct order, but what was the Scientology movie? After Earth or whatever.
Oh, fuck. Spaceship Earth or something?
No, dude, fuck. Will Smith was in it, I'm pretty sure.
I thought John Travolta was in it.
Oh, fuck, you might be right.
It's John Travolta. Isn't it called?
I don't know. I don't watch that fucking garbage. I don't know.
Whatever. But that was based on the religion. Or maybe on a L. Ron Hubbard book, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, hell of a story.
This one, yeah, hell of a story is right. That's a story for another day, but that shit's nutty. I mean... I would definitely be a dudist before I was a Scientologist.
Yeah, I mean... Any
day of the week.
I don't think you have to, sacrifice your, deepest, darkest secrets to join the dudists.
So that they could blackmail you?
Yeah, you don't have to tell them about that one time your uncle fucking took you fishing in the bushes,
Now, the religion based off the Big Lebowski is... The official organizational name is the Church of Latter-day Dude.
Nice.
Which is fucking hilarious. It's a play on Mormonism.
I'm sure they hate that.
For sure. I'm surprised they haven't wiped it off the face of this planet. But yes, there are actually over 600,000 ordained Dudist ministers around the world. And
over
they can even officiate marriages legally.
Over half a bill?
Yes.
Ooh.
According to their website, which seems to be accurate. Of course, like they say on the website, many of them just did that for fun. You could just go to the website, become an ordained minister. But there are ministers out there who officiate legal weddings. And I actually have a buddy from college named Tito who actually is a Dudist minister who officiated my friend's wedding, which is pretty wild. As a Dudist. But yeah, the Dudist belief system is essentially based on Taoism, as laid out by the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. But it's basically about the carefree attitude of the dude.
That's nice.
As played by Jeff Bridges in the film, which is pretty fun.
You only live once. Why let it get you down?
Just keep on existing. The dude abides. That's their philosophy.
I think I hear the koi pond kicking back on.
Uh-oh. Man, those fish must just have an abundance of oxygen.
They're breathing right, bro.
But yeah, there's also a university out there called the Abide University, and they give out PhDs in Big Lebowski topics, which sounds about as useful as my anthropology degree, so that's fun.
Well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. That is the kind of degree that gets you laid at a bar. You know, like...
It's mysterious,
it is.
You know?
I know what anthropology is, but what does the degree mean? What do you do with said degree? I don't know.
Well, you make up lies about yourself. That's what you do. About visiting the Amazon and contacting the tribes there.
Do you talk about where you saw some guy pull the heart out of a man while he was still alive as well?
I mean, ideally, you know, you say you want to know what an anthropologist does. Go watch Indiana Jones.
He's technically an archaeologist,
and he's just a cultural thief. But that's a whole other story. He just steals their artifacts directly from the source.
Do not ruin Indiana Jones for me. Do not try. That's a very pure part of my childhood.
I know we talked about it in one of the last episodes, but I always think of the South Park episode where George Lucas literally rapes Indiana Jones.
And that was hilarious, but also painful for me.
They're coming out with another Indiana Jones. What the fuck? Stop.
Are they is Shia LaBeouf gonna be the new Indy, or are they gonna cast?
I think they canceled him. I think he's gone.
Why is he canceled?
I don't entirely know, but...
Dude, he got, sexually assaulted as part of an art exhibit.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore, man.
He just, he sat there with a fucking bag on his head and just, allowed people to sodomize him, man.
They sodomized him?
The express details are pretty hard to find, but, he was assaulted. And as part of the performance piece was he sat in a room and just, people paid to come in and they could do whatever they wanted to him. And
that's kind of cool. That's very cool, honestly. But I did read that was not his original idea. Someone else had done that before, and he kind of
it got shut down at the end because I forget where it was. I think it was in Germany, but basically somebody was about to shoot somebody on fucking stage, and
Jesus,
yeah, they had to shut it down.
Kind of sounds like the fucking Stanford prison experiments or something. It just totally got out of hand.
But as opposed to authority giving the directive, it was just here's people, you can do whatever you want to.
Well, he gave consent, I believe, because whatever. Anyway,
yeah, I mean.
That guy's a nut.
I don't know.
He's kind of fun, though.
I
think
he signed up for that. I guess he did, in a very weird.
He probably freaking got a boner the second all that stuff was happening.
I think he had a bad time,
yes.
Man. I think he did.
This will be controversial.
I don't think he had a good time with it. I don't know. Either way.
I don't know. I feel like if you're doing performance art, you're just secretly are hoping someone's going to stick a finger up your butt or something.
What?
If it's on that level.
Yeah, I mean, you are taking on a lot of risk with the focal point of your performance being you could do whatever you want to me.
That's a high level of risk.
It's a very high
one
level
I would not
of
be
risk.
Comfortable with.
It's almost a little crazy. But anyways,
but back to the Big Lebowski.
Yeah, away from Indiana
what do you think it is? I was thinking about this. What the fuck is it about this movie? Why this one? I enjoy it. I love it. But a religion, a university, what the fuck is going on here?
I think it's a
festival.
I think it's a mixture of aesthetic, a near perfect soundtrack, which I will talk about more, and also just the Coen brothers magic of writing dialogue. And I mean, again, it has noir elements in it, which I love detective movies, especially neo-noir films like this and Brick. It really they fucking rustle my feathers. So I don't know, but at the same time, it's not a detective movie. It's a much chiller viewing experience, and it's a comedy, and it's an absurdist comedy at that.
I think at its, yes, it is a neo-noir detective thing, but I think at its core, it's almost like a character study. And I was thinking, like, the plot isn't, I mean, it's memorable with the nihilists and all that shit, but it's kind of convoluted. It's a little confusing. But, like, what you never forget is the characters. Like, they are so genius. Walter, we'll get into the characters and introduce them soon, but Walter, the dude, the Big Lebowski in the wheelchair.
The nihilists.
The nihilists. Fucking one of them who was played by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Jackie Treehorn, even. I mean...
Yeah, dude, Steve Buscemi's character Donnie, who may or may not exist, which we'll get to later, but the characters are unforgettable, man. And I consider Walter to be like one of the greatest characters in all of film. Like, he just is one of the most memorable characters. I'm just going to go ahead and posit that Walter makes the film. Without him, I don't know that it would have achieved the status it has achieved.
Played by the legendary John Goodman.
Yes, it was fucking phenomenal. And the Coen brothers, they often reuse a lot of their favorite actors. Frances McDormand, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi. She is not in this, Frances McDormand, but John Goodman and Steve Buscemi fucking are amazing. I love them. And I love the whole cast of this film, honestly.
So
such a great cast.
Yeah, let's touch on some other people. Some of the goats involved.
You got John Turturro,
Julianne Moore, who
yep.
Oh God, I have such a crush on Julianne Moore. It's absurd.
Tara Reid,
dude.
Sam Elliott,
yes. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Fuck, he's good in this.
He is good in this.
And there's so many little moments like the Little Lebowski Urban Achievers and all of that shit. Like, it's just such a good fucking screenplay and film.
It's pretty much perfect.
I get too excited.
Yeah, so Rotten Tomatoes and pretty much Metacritic, IMDb all disagree with me that it's a perfect movie. And
fuck them.
It comes in at like a B plus pretty much across the board.
Well, there's a whole religion that disagrees with them. So
and again, it got a bunch of like negative reviews out the door, or at least like lukewarm reviews, I should say. Not negative. That's too hard for a movie this good.
Some of them were negative. Some of them were kind of, I think it didn't live up to the high expectations of Fargo in these people's minds, and it subverted expectations in a lot of ways.
But it's just as good as Fargo, as far as I'm concerned. And I love Fargo. I really do.
Again, I think the characters are even better. I mean, I love Fargo as well, but the dude and Walter and Donnie, they play off each other so fucking well.
They do. Did we introduce the Coen brothers at all?
I think we talked about a few of their films.
So if you don't know who the Coen brothers are, do yourself a wiki favor or whatever. Find something else. If Wikipedia won't let me have my page.
We're boycotting Wikipedia.
We're not. We definitely are not.
Raising Arizona, we didn't mention that one, but I think that was the first one I saw and what really turned me on to them. Miller's Crossing, Barton Fink. The list just goes on and on.
Indeed. And more. Well, you said No Country for Old Men already. That's right. Lots and lots and lots and lots of very cerebral, well thought out films that are just, they hit right. The Chef's Kiss, they hit right.
What was that Netflix one? The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, and it had Tom Waits in it.
Yep.
That was a fun one.
I love anything that Tom Waits is in, pretty much unconditionally.
Agree. He's fantastic.
He is. Thank God he's still alive.
Don't jinx it, bro.
You're right. God,
but yeah, this movie centers around a character called the Dude. And I believe his name is Jeff Lebowski. But everyone calls him the Dude. And he's basically like a chill... He's kind of a slacker guy who wears a bathrobe around. Is it a bathrobe?
It is, and he drinks and smokes weed all the time.
Yeah, he drinks White Russians, smokes joints, and kind of is a prototypical Los Angeles person as described in the opening of the film, as narrated by Sam Elliott. He says he's a man for his time and place. He just fits right in there, and that's the dude for Los Angeles. So I have not spent much time in Los Angeles. Don't believe that I care to, but apparently he is something of a personification of Los Angeles. And the dude is actually he's based on a real guy who the Coen brothers knew. This guy, Jeff Dowd, who was an independent film producer and promoter. And the Coen brothers met him when they were promoting their first film, Blood Simple, which I'm embarrassed to say I've not seen. Have you seen Blood Simple?
I have not. So
I've heard it's really good. I want to go watch it now.
Double embarrassment.
But yeah, and that guy, Jeff Dowd, actually goes by the dude in real life. He is the dude. So the dude is a real guy. But the dude character in the film is kind of a composite of Jeff Dowd and also a little bit of their other friend, Peter Exline. I hope I'm saying his name right.
I think so.
That's another friend of the Coen brothers. Peter Exline more or less inspired the whole premise of the film. He actually had a rug that tied the whole room together and other things as we'll get to later. But yeah, the dude, played by Jeff Bridges, he kind of just goes through life. Life happens to him. He's apparently underemployed, as they might say.
He's thriving in his own way.
He's thriving. I mean, he is what a dudist, a proud dudist aspires to be. And what I aspire to be. He lacks all ambition, but he is perfectly content, you know? He's in a zen-like state. A dude-like state.
A dude-like state. Yeah, and it just looks good, right? Like, he's just so chill. He's so chill.
He's so chill. But yeah, so the film starts off with him. He's shopping in a grocery store. He drinks out of the carton of milk before he buys it. Interestingly enough, when he's checking out the grocery store, I don't know if you caught this, but the TV is playing a speech from George Bush Sr. where he's saying, "This aggression will not stand."
Yep.
And he's talking about Iraq. And actually, the dude writes a check and post-dates the check for 9/11/91, which it's funny because he writes the check for 69 cents and post-dates it like he's never going to pay that 69 cents. But also,
it's also a check for 69 cents.
There's a theory out there that the Coen brothers essentially predicted 9/11. You got George Bush Sr., 9/11's featured. Probably a coincidence.
I'm in.
Because this movie's from 1998. I don't think we said that, but...
Yes, 3 years prior.
Predates 9/11, the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center. But yeah, when he gets home, some thugs are waiting for him. They slam his head into a toilet, and then one pisses on his rug, which
ties the room
basically
together.
It's the catalyst of the whole fucking movie. He's trying to get his rug replaced, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, then they realize he's not the Lebowski they're looking for. He says, "I'm not Lebowski, I'm the dude." He says, "Does it look like I'm married? The toilet seat's up, man." There's so many fucking good lines in this.
Classic.
Then next and the dude, all he does is go bowling. He's on a bowling league, which I think is part of my affinity towards this movie because I'm not an athletic man. I'm more of a bowler than a soccer player. You know what I'm saying?
I'm so bad at bowling. It's like a fact of my life.
But you can drink while you do it. That's why it's one of the great
you can
sports
suck and
in my
it's still
opinion.
Fun. You're right.
It is. And, it's just more of a social event than like a competitive, even though Walter gets quite competitive, you might say.
Yeah.
But yeah, his bowling partners on the team are Donnie and Walter. And how would you describe Walter and Donnie?
Donnie is this very kind of unassuming, frail, scared man.
Played by Steve Buscemi, of course.
All of life seems to come a little too fast at Donnie.
He's constantly lost and just entering the conversation and trying to figure out what the fuck's
he gets
happening.
shut down too. He's just like he's like the omega male of the pack, and
The perfect foil for Walter.
so Walter is a boisterous, crazy alpha played by John Goodman. So he's a hardcore Second Amendment enthusiast who also happens to be a Vietnam vet. He's played by the very imposing John Goodman. If you like somehow don't fucking know who John Goodman is, he's a very large man.
And he can be very imposing, especially in these Coen Brothers films.
He's got the deep voice. He's got the presence. The gravitas.
He's a little scary. He's a little scary. Maybe not so much in this movie, but he has like a chin strap and he wears these big Hunter S. Thompson yellow aviator sunglasses. And he's constantly just going on loud rants about how his friends died in the muck so that he could have his freedom and etc. Which actually kind of got a little crossover here with our Apocalypse Now episode. Walter was primarily inspired by John Milius, who was the screenwriter and director. He actually wrote the screenplay for Apocalypse Now. And he was the real-life Walter. He carried a gun around, was loud and boisterous, very politically conservative. He's the one who decided to basically base an adaptation of Heart of Darkness set in the Vietnam War, which I think is fucking genius.
Yeah, I mean, we did an episode about it. We think it's so
very, very macho guy. He wrote the Dirty Harry films. He wrote and directed Conan the Barbarian and Red Dawn. If you haven't seen Red Dawn, check that out. Milius later claimed that he was actually blacklisted from Hollywood for his conservative political leanings, which is kind of interesting.
It's probably true. Wasn't his last movie Red Dawn? And he crossed
I believe that was his last big one, which was all about how the commies
crossed the line
fucking...
and he got blacklisted.
Yeah, I mean, he had some balls for sure. Which that's all about the commies and doing a land invasion of America. It's a pretty fun movie.
And then America's
honestly.
youth fighting back. It's an important note that.
It's a fun movie. But Walter was also inspired by that same guy, Peter Exline. So he inspired multiple things about this film because that guy was actually a real Vietnam vet. But yeah, he's always just yelling at Donnie like, shut the fuck up, Donnie. Forget it, Donnie. You're out of your element, Donnie.
You're out of your element.
But he's like, and he just keeps telling the dude that, because the dude tells them that someone peed on his rug. He's like, man, that rug really tied the room together, dude. Really tied the room together. A fun fan theory is that Donnie is just a figment of Walter's imagination, his PTSD-riddled brain. Because the dude never really acknowledges Donnie or talks to him all that much. It's really just Walter yelling at Donnie.
Other than the funeral.
Other than the funeral. Exactly. That fair. That's a hole in that theory.
That's
people.
what I say to that theory, people.
So, dudes out there who are subscribing to that theory.
Fucking, I just big brained you guys.
Fuck off. But yeah, so Walter convinces the dude he needs to go find the real Lebowski. And let's just go ahead and throw this out there. The plot is crazy. It's convoluted. Even the Coen brothers themselves said the plot is secondary. It's not... We're not going to get lost in the weeds of the plot. But essentially, the dude wants his rug to be replaced. Those thugs went to the wrong Lebowski's house. So he's going to go to the real Lebowski, who's this millionaire, and demand he replace his rug. That is the call to adventure that is going to set this movie off. But yeah, he goes to the Big Lebowski's house, who he kind of has like a manservant, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
It's his man. It's his right-hand man.
It's his right-hand man. And his name's Brant. And yeah, he's so good in this. I don't even know how I would describe him, but he plays it very nervously and just brilliantly. But yeah, he shows the dude Lebowski's wall of accolades along with the little Lebowski Urban Achievers. And there's a Time magazine mirror where the dude looks at himself in the mirror and as though he's on the cover of Time magazine, and he goes, huh.
I kind of want one of those for the house.
The Big Lebowski. What was it? Hold on. I got to look up that actor's name. I want to say it's David Huddleston. Yep, that's it. So, Lebowski, who's this millionaire who just happens to share the name of our protagonist, he's played by David Huddleston. And here's an interesting little trivia for you. The Coen brothers wrote that role with Marlon Brando in mind. And they could not get Marlon Brando.
He was too
But
fat.
that would have been a very different character.
Fat, dude.
He did movie, well, I don't know. Yeah, the late 90s, I don't know. He did some movies in the 90s, though. But yeah, the character would have been totally different if Marlon Brando played the Big Lebowski.
Wasn't Mel Gibson also considered?
Interesting. I did not hear that, but that would have also been pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think he didn't take the script seriously and did not legitimately entertain the role. So Mel did not take it.
But David Huddleston does a fantastic job, and it's worth saying he's in a wheelchair, but he talks with a big booming voice.
He does. Very,
and
very
he says,
appropriate.
Yeah, he's very opposing. He says, I do not look for handouts, blah, blah, blah. And he actually reminds me of this guy I worked for in college, also an older fellow in a wheelchair, who made up for his wheelchairness by speaking with a very, very booming voice and yelling at me a lot, which is kind of fun. So that's a nice little archetype there.
Yeah, it exists. It exists.
I don't blame anyone for the loss of my legs. Some Chinamen took them from me in Korea.
That's
his words, not mine.
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
Just throwing that out there. Yeah. Showing the kind of,
the kind of world we live in.
Demonstrating the character.
The world we live in.
Yeah, sure.
People,
exactly.
people.
There are people out there like that. Is it racist to have a character like that in a movie? I don't know. I'm not going to go down that philosophical rabbit hole. But I'm going to go ahead and say no. We can have horrible characters in film.
Correct. I was going to say no as well. I back you up. That's the far outlook stance.
Thank you.
Voted into stone here today.
But yeah, we meet the Big Lebowski's wife, who was kind of this hot chick, played by Tara Reid, named Bunny.
Dude, we're talking like peak Tara Reid.
Yeah, that was the. Oh yeah, had lots of fantasies about her.
It was before Paradise.
What's Paradise?
It was a reality TV show of hers.
Oh, I missed that one.
Ooh, you missed out, my friend. That was like the heyday of reality TV in the early 2000s, where it was just like anything went.
Oh man, those were the fun days, man. Celebrity Rehab and all that garbage.
Dude, straight
highly
trash,
entertaining.
literal trash. Highly entertaining.
What was it? The Surreal Life. That shit was fucking phenomenal.
The Surreal Life.
Troy
was
Werner
phenomenal.
was on there,
and Flava Flav.
Dude, that was great.
Bridget, Flava Flav's future wife and then ex-wife.
Werner Troy. Is it Werner Troy or Troy Werner?
It is Troy Werner, and R.I.P. little man.
Vern Troyer.
Oh,
Vern Troyer.
God damn it! I had it wrong. I'm the fool.
Fuck. And one of those episodes of Surreal Life, he got hammered and he was riding around on his rascal, and he just fucking turned his body 90 degrees on the rascal and pissed off the side of it. I'll never forget that moment.
Truly
and he was hammered.
A wild memory.
Because he would drink his fucking body weight in like straight liquor.
That'll kill you. That will end you.
Next we get one of the most famous scenes of the entire fucking film. They're bowling in the tournament, and fucking a character named Smokey, his toe goes over the line while he bowls.
Over the line!
Over the line! Smokey, this is not Vietnam. This is bowling. There are rules.
There are rules.
That's my terrible Walter impression. Fuck, that scene's so good. Has the whole world gone crazy?
So Walter is basically having a a PTSD-ish freak out.
And he pulls a gun and fucking points at him and says, "Am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules? Mark it 0." God, it's amazing.
Loose cannon. This Walter.
So many good quotable lines from this fucking movie. And then he gets in the car with the dude and he's like, "Am I wrong, dude? Am I wrong?" "No, you're not wrong, Walter. You're just an asshole." Which I have often said that to my friends when they're being assholes.
You're not wrong. You're just an asshole. It rolls off the tongue. I mean,
that is, there are so many circumstances where that is true. You're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Often the people who are deliberately right are assholes. I'm deliberately right, and I'm a fucking asshole. Like, fairly often.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not worth winning that point, you know?
That's something a non-winner would say, but
over the line.
Oh man. So do we get introduced to Jesus in this scene?
I believe we do. And they play the Spanish Hotel California. Don't fuck with the Jesus.
Dude, they do a great job of it.
Dude, John Turturro.
Yep. Bingo. Thank you. Beat me to it. I was so excited.
Plays a pederast.
Well,
as they say.
Yes.
Did you ever see the spin-off film starring the Jesus?
No.
The Jesus Rolls, or what's it called?
I do remember it now that you say that name.
I have not seen it either. Even though I am a big fan of John Turturro. Whatever. There's time. There's too many movies in this world.
I mean, the Coen brothers said they would never make a sequel, so it feels like a cheat code to like fucking just make a spinoff, you know.
They didn't make it. I think they essentially gave him the rights, and he actually like wrote and directed it. I could be mistaken about that.
That's neat.
That was cool.
Artists
right?
Empowering artists.
So we essentially learn that the Big Lebowski, who's in the wheelchair, the millionaire, his wife gets kidnapped. And he hires the dude to investigate because he thinks, you know, the dude also has something at stake. He wants his rug. So the dude just kind of, life happens to this guy. He's just going with the flow, you know. He's going the way of the Tao. He's like he is water, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But he calls up Walter and says, you know, we're going to go meet the kidnappers. We're going to give them this ransom money. And, of course, Walter gets all excited. He's like, we're going to scam these motherfuckers.
Which is a dumb idea with kidnappers.
If
somebody has your loved ones, you should play by their rules.
Well, it's not their loved ones, you know. They have nothing at stake.
If someone has the loved ones of the people you're representing, you should not freewheel it. It should be fucking by the books. Otherwise, you're going to be, I mean, like, or you could just have a death on your hands and that's like your burden to bear. I don't know. But like, I would probably play by the books.
But yeah, so they try to screw him over. Gets botched, goes horribly wrong.
Of course.
Blah, blah, blah. More neo-noir stuff. It's funny at the end of this scene, Walter's just like, fuck it, dude, let's go bowling.
And they do go bowling.
They go bowling. We learn that Walter does not bowl on the Shabbos because he's a practicing Jew.
So not born Jewish. He has decided he is Jewish.
No, we learn later he's obsessed with his ex-wife and he converted for her. And they divorced 5 years earlier. But he's just obsessed with her.
He would be divorced. He would have been divorced.
Oh, everyone knows a Walter, and they're divorced.
I mean, sorry, Walter, but you're not part of the fucking club anymore, man. You're out. Like, your wife divorces you. Got to get with the times, man.
Another great line is Donnie keeps asking these questions. He's just trying to insert himself in the conversation. Walter says, life does not start and stop at your convenience, you miserable piece of shit. Just such a great line.
It is.
But yeah, so then the dude's car gets stolen, and It has the briefcase and his Creedence tapes, which he really cares about the Creedence tapes.
I mean, dude, this is before internet radio had even popped into a motherfucker's brain. Like,
you needed those tapes. Even CDs, I don't know, were mainstream in cars at that point. I mean,
in the early 90s, no, they would not have been.
Well, it's set in the early 90s, so.
Yeah, so that would be like the tech that we're seeing in the film should reflect the early 90s, which would be very...
Creedence Clearwater Revival tape.
CD players in cars was like luxury shit only in 1991.
Exactly. But yeah, then we get this whole scene where he goes and meets the painting lady, Maud Lebowski. And she's like this performance artist. She paints vaginas.
She's the daughter of Jeffrey Lebowski.
And actually, her character is kind of a composite character based off real-life visual and performance artist Carolee Schneemann and Yoko Ono.
Indeed.
Which I can kind of see the Yoko Ono. I don't know that I'm familiar with the other chick, but...
The other chick did like a nude swinging on swing thing. I know that about her.
That's fun.
Yep, which we get in this movie. So there's a connection for you.
Yoko Ono, it's often kind of overlooked, but she did some cool art shit, and that's kind of what attracted John Lennon to her. She had a whole career. She's not just John Lennon's wife who
but she
supposedly
is
broke
just
up
the
the
force
Beatles.
that destroyed the Beatles. Yes, I agree.
But have you seen the new, whatever that fucking documentary is made by Peter Jackson?
Yeah, I've seen the fucking moon landing footage too. Come on. Come on.
Nailed it.
You're welcome. I've had that one tucked up the sleeve for a while.
You were ready.
Yeah, I was ready.
You were
I was ready
fucking
for it.
That was too good. That was too good to be improv. But yeah, we find out she hangs out this creepy John Waters character. Is that who that reminded you of? John Waters?
Yeah, I would say so.
Who laughs like a weird weasel.
It is a weird laugh.
And the dude just keeps being like, what the fuck's up with this dude? Do you know him? What does he do? Then we learn about the nihilists some more. Again, one's played by Flea. Another one's played by the killer from Fargo, which is pretty cool. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah, I did not know that at all, so thank you. Good fun fact.
And the nihilists, we learned that they were in a German freaking techno band called Autobahn, which is based off the band Kraftwerk, which is kind of fun. It's just this movie's full of weird little details like that.
I mean, they pulled a lot from like real life, real people, like, and that, I don't know, that's kind of beautiful in my mind.
It's beautiful. I think that's just such an off the wall reference and thing to include in the film that it's just one of those, it's those little details that make it such an enduring cult classic,
Yep.
But yeah, Walter comes up with this theory like she kidnapped herself. This is all just a scheme. And my favorite scene is when they're in the diner and the dude and Walter are chatting. And the dude's like, because the kidnapper sent Lebowski her toe, or something like that. He gets her toe, and they're like, look, we have her. We're going to kill her. The toe has her nail polish. Well, he's telling Walter, he's like, it's not made up, man. They sent her a toe. They sent her toe. And Walter's like, you want a toe? I can get you a toe, dude. There are ways, believe me, you don't want to know about them. Hell, I can get you a toe by 3 o'clock this afternoon with nail polish. Fuck, that's like one of the best lines.
But he's right. He's 100% right.
I can get you a toe.
He's right. A toe is, you could sacrifice.
How would you get a toe, Andrew? Please tell the audience of how you would get a toe.
If it meant me getting the sum of the ransom money, even in 2022, which was...
I'd cut my own toe off for that ransom money.
Exactly.
Without hesitation.
I would go get a pedicure, and it would get fucking painted, and then I would put that motherfucker on a chopping block with a chisel and a hammer and just pound it out. Gone. And I'll take the $1 million, and I'll be better off for it. Fuck.
fuck. With science, I'll grow a new toe on a rat.
Dude, exactly.
And then put it on my foot.
Just like sandpaper the wound every day so it doesn't heal. So you can just reattach right onto it.
Oh, my God. But yeah, this scene's so fucking funny. And the waitress at the diner asks Walter to kindly keep his voice down as it's a family place. He says, "For your information, the Supreme Court has roundly rejected prior restraint." She says, "I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And he's like, "Lady, I got friends who died face down in the muck so you and I can enjoy this family restaurant." It's so fucking good. I could see you going on a rant like that.
I am not a member of the armed services, so I cannot share such camaraderie. But can I rant? Oh, yes.
You can rant about our freedoms and the Second Amendment.
You just got to get me keyed up the right way.
But the dude walks out of the restaurant. He wants no part of this. And he says, "Don't go away. This affects all of us, man. Our basic freedoms." And then he says, "I'm staying. Enjoying my coffee." It's like the best fucking lines in the movie, man.
John Goodman steals the show, but I mean Jeff Bridges.
Dude, he steals the show. That's my whole. If I contribute nothing else to this episode, I just want to say that Walter makes the movie. It's John Goodman's performance. He has said this is his favorite performance he's ever done, and I think it's at the top of the list of all-time performances. He nails it. It's such a believable character.
Do you think he is the star of the show ultimately?
I think it's interesting that it's called the religion is dudism, because I almost feel like Walter's the one who should have his own religion.
He already does. It's called libertarianism.
Nailed it. You nailed it. You definitely.
Dude, I'm on fire today. And actually, true story, that earlier joke was
all those White Russians and the Koi Pons are
the Koi Pons, man.
They're doing you well.
Scott Andrew.
They're doing you well. Keep it up.
Texas
Keep it up,
Pete
Andrew.
Over here. Pa, 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 pa.
But yeah, so they gets the car back. His car was stolen earlier. The cops bring it back. He asks the cops if they have any leads, and they just laugh in his face. He's like, "Yeah, the boys in the station, we got 4 people on it full time, day and night. But some kids took a shit in his car." But he finds this kid's homework. 8th grade homework.
Larry
and
Sellers.
It's funny.
The kid's name is Larry Sellers.
Larry Sellers.
Yeah.
And of course, he tells Walter about this, and Walter demands that they go confront this kid. He does research, and the kid's father is a famous TV producer. And when they go to this kid's house to confront him and try to get back the briefcase, which was missing, his father's in like an iron lung or something. He's like in a hospital bed in the living room.
Dying. They
present the kid's homework. It's in a plastic evidence bag. And the kid's like catatonic. He's a dunce, that's the word they use for him. But Walter says, "You're killing your father, Larry." Another great fucking line.
Strong overreaction.
"You're killing your father, Larry." Apparently this is based on a real story from that guy Peter Exline. He really had his car stolen. When the cops found it, some kid's 8th grade homework was in the seat. And when he took a private eye to go confront the kid, they literally did put the homework in an evidence bag and put it in the kid's face. And the kid's father was dying in a hospital bed in the living room, just like the film.
That's dark, but hey.
That is kind of dark.
Stranger than fiction, you know.
"You're killing your father, Larry."
In retaliation to...
This is so good.
In retaliation to the theft of the presumed theft of the ransom money, Walter goes out and proceeds to lay waste to a sports car. I believe it's a Ferrari.
I believe it is.
It's a Ferrari. Exact make and model escape me, which is like bad as a movie and car guy. I should probably already know that. But
and he just keeps yelling. Do you know what he yells?
Fill us in, Braid. Let's hear it.
"Son, this is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass."
Yeah, that's right. You fuck a stranger in the ass.
He just keeps yelling that over and over again. And famously, the TV edit which is considered to be one of the most creative TV edits of all time. He says, "This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps." Which is kind of fun. Fun little trivia for you if you're ever doing a Big Lebowski trivia at Lebowski Fest 2022.
You have that answer at your disposal now.
It's ready. This is what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps.
Thank you, Braden.
Never forget it.
I'm glad you did that research.
Next, he goes to the pornographer's house because Bunny, the wife, was in a porno. We're not going to get all the details.
Jackie
We're doing the best
Jackie
we can.
Treehorn is
Jackie Treehorn. And he lives in a mansion. He tells the dude that the future is going to be 100% interactive pornographic software, which we're pretty much already
he's right. He called that one.
He did call that one. To which the dude replies, "I still jerk off manually." And then Jackie Treehorn gets a call. This is one of my favorite details in the movie. And he takes a note. He's like writing notes of what the guy's saying. And when he walks away, the dude doing his detective work, he does like a rubbing of what the guy wrote on the notepad. And it's just like a doodle of a guy with a giant hard dick. That's like one of the best scenes, right?
It is.
And then Jackie Treehorn drugs the dude, and we get the cool psychedelic dream sequence
with
balls.
With a white Russian. He spikes a white Russian.
Yep. And another one of the most famous songs from the movie, I would say. I just dropped in, see what condition my condition was in. From Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, that's a fucking sweet Kenny Rogers song.
Fuck.
Also, just to jump back to
psychedelic,
the
he was psychedelic before The Gambler.
So to jump back to the psychedelic sequence, I gotta keep dropping my phone like an amateur.
It's those white Russians and those koi ponds.
So it's a Busby Berkeley styled like sequence. Essentially, he was a famous choreographer and kind of like early music video producer, and he does some like pretty like weird stuff for the time, especially. But I also read like a bit about how they like went with like the kind of the 5-point star aesthetic, because they didn't want it to be your typical 60s, 70s lava lamp, fucking, maybe disco ball visuals. They wanted to do something else that captured the spirit of the age, but like it wasn't as is played out ultimately. And I think the star fucking fades, or like, it's not even a star fade because it doesn't fade sequence to sequence, but like the star effects is what I'm going for.
They nailed it, man.
They nailed it.
It's so cool. And they're like, he's with Julianne Moore and she's dressed like a Viking woman, and they're bowling and they're showgirls essentially. And he becomes a bowling ball that's like going through their legs.
He does.
And then you get the nihilists. They start chasing him with giant scissors, and they're wearing these weird red like gimp suits or something. So much fun.
This is so much gimp suits.
So much fun.
I
love a good gimp suit. Fuck.
I mean,
minus the zipper on the mouth.
That just seems like an accident waiting to happen, right?
What, running with giant scissors? They're like trying to cut off his dick.
Yes to that, but also a zipper on the mouth hole, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Here, let me just put these metal nubs fucking by the vagina. Like it seems like a bad idea, right? Like,
it's a bad idea. Zippers are dangerous, especially when they're near orifices. Can we agree on that?
Or external genitalia as well.
That too.
It doesn't have to be an orifice. A zipper can lay waste to.
It could be the male part or the
balls.
female. Well, dude, I'm sure every male who listens to this has probably caught their balls in the zipper at some point.
Least one time in their life, and it's
excruciating.
You'll never forget it. You'll never forget it as long as you live.
So I approve of the nihilists, their gimp suits not having zippers. I think that is an improvement on the gimp suit as a whole.
Agreed. Hey, I think that is a far out flicks certified opinion right there.
God, yeah, man. But yeah, so the dude, he wakes up in a police station. The cop beats the shit out of him. He takes a cab ride.
And this is like very noir-esque to me, right? Like the confrontation with the police after you've had your like kind of moment or semi-reveal moment with kind of like your middle of the story reveal moment with the villain. It's like you find out the law's on his side as well. Like
it's a conspiracy.
It just like reeks of fucking Chinatown to me, and I love it. Yep. And I love it. I fucking love Chinatown.
I love Chinatown so much.
So good, dude.
Starring Jack Nicholson. Fuck, that was a good
all-time fave.
But yeah, he takes a cab from the police station, and I love this scene because the cab driver, they're listening to the Eagles, and he asks him to change the station. He's like, I fucking hate the Eagles, man. And the cab driver just throws him out of the car when he says this and kicks his ass and leaves him.
So the song Dead Flowers, they wanted to use it on the soundtrack, and Alan Klein had the rights to that song at that point, and he wanted 150 large to use it. But when he was basically he was shown an early cut of the movie, and they got to the scene where the dude's like, I hate the fucking Eagles, man. Or what does he say? I think that's the quote.
Oh, yeah. He says, I hate the fucking Eagles.
I hate the fucking Eagles, man. And Alan Klein said, that's it. You could use it for free. Like that.
Because he also hates the Eagles.
Dude, whatever. I hate the fucking Eagles. I love the Eagles music. I hate the Eagles manager.
Apparently, Glenn Frey, I believe that's his name, one of the main dude from the Eagles, he actually confronted Jeff Bridges at like an event aggressively about that scene.
Like he wrote that line.
It reminds me, I used to work at a restaurant with this guy named Matt, and he was a little unstable, you might say. And one day he had a giant knife, and the Eagles came on, and like not ironically at all, not quoting this movie, he looked at me and he said, if I have to listen to one more Eagles song, I'm gonna snap. And I'll never forget that moment.
Yeah, you saw a man on the edge.
Dude, he snapped. He's gone now. There. I don't know what happened to him, but he does not have social media, and his last posts were concerning.
I obviously love some of the Eagles music, but I fucking hate Desperado.
Dude.
And I hate the Eagles.
Well, I hate almost all of them.
If our listeners don't know, the Eagles are the ones, like the first band who just like jacked live concert tickets through the roof as like a ploy to like increase their market value, and it worked. People bought it up, and like ever since then, live tickets have been more money.
That's fucked up. And I want to say they have their greatest hits is like the best-selling album of all time or something, which is absurd to me.
That would be Michael Jackson's Thriller, but they're probably up there.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I gotta Google
it's
it
Thriller
now.
For sure, bro. Google, watch. I wish our listeners could see his face as he sees that I'm
Googling
Thriller is the right answer.
I am Googling it. Nope. The Eagles' greatest hits album, released in 1976, surpassed Michael Jackson's Thriller in 2018.
Oh my God, no!
I wish I could see Andrew's face. Fuck him.
You can't. Our video feed's fucked up. He can't see me at all right now.
Victory. It tastes so sweet right now.
God damn it, really?
Yes.
Boomers, you are to blame for this fucked up atrocity of a fact.
The Eagles have Hotel California is a good song. Just heard it too many fucking times.
It's a good song. And again,
I still like Witchy Woman.
It's not even like I hate their music. I just like hate their manager and the scummy shit that he did.
Right. Yeah, and they kind of just commercialized that whole country rock sound.
And I hate Desperado with a fucking passion.
I like Joe Walsh, though.
I like Joe Walsh, too.
He's the best thing that ever happened with the Eagles. Yeah. But yeah, so next, the dude, he fucks Big Lebowski. And this is a weird scene because post-coitus, he's like smoking a joint. And she like rocks onto her back in this weird like fetal position.
It's like the egg pose or whatever.
What is that?
No. It's child's pose, right?
I do not know.
I don't know. I don't do yoga. Poses. I don't do yoga.
But she informs him that this position increases the chances of conception. Which
She's like on her back, holding her knees to her chest, like rocking back and forth.
what would you do if a girl did that to you, Andrew? That'd be a terrifying moment.
It would. But I have much further to fall than the dude does. You know, like
Right. Oh. Reminds me of the time my friend pulled out and jizzed on her rag, and then when he came back out of the bathroom, she was rubbing into herself.
what the fuck?
Dude, be careful out there. Be careful out there, flickers.
Be careful. Holy shit.
It's a dangerous world. It's a scary, fucked up, messed up world.
Dark times.
But yeah, she informs him that she's really just trying to have his baby, which is odd. But isn't that how it always goes? Aren't the girls always trying to get pregnant by like dudes without jobs? Like, isn't that how it usually goes? And the ones with jobs, they plan it out. Interesting how that works.
I mean, hey, you know, the memes write themselves.
But yeah, so at this point in the movie, we're kind of near the end. The dude goes back to the Big Lebowski's mansion. He's going to confront him.
Oh, did we mention that he figured out that Bunny actually had not been kidnapped and it was all staged? Did we connect those dots? We should connect.
I don't think we did. Let's connect
those dots.
And later on, they show there's a nihilist woman. Suddenly, she wasn't in the rest of the movie, played by singer-songwriter Amy Mann, and it shows that she is missing a toe. So it wasn't Bunny's toe.
Bunny
it was
just
a nihilist
ran off.
toe.
Yep.
But yeah, they go back. They accuse the Big Lebowski of setting the whole thing up. The dude figured it out. They only hired the dude because he knew the dude was a slacker who wouldn't crack the case. Funny scene, Walter says, "Look at this phony dude pretending to be a millionaire. I bet he doesn't even need that wheelchair."
And he picks him up and throws him out. A big part of this was that he used the whole dude, you know, ruse to justify taking money out of their family trust. Because Jeffrey Lebowski himself was not rich. It was actually his wife who was wealthy.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm connecting some plot points. We've talked about a bunch of good shit, but we had to connect some dots.
We definitely did not do a good job of explaining the plot, and I think in a very
we did a good job other ways this time.
Well, I think it's more of a character study anyway.
Yeah.
But I almost think in a very meta sense that you're meant to kind of experience the plot in the same way as the dude is experiencing the events. Like, you're not really supposed to know what's happening. You're just going with it, right?
Yep.
But yeah, then they get confronted by the nihilists who are still looking for the money.
It results in a physical altercation.
Donnie's like, "Are these men going to hurt us?" And Walter's like, "No.
They're nihilists.
No, Donnie, they're nihilists. Bunch of fucking cowards."
And Walter does lay waste to these dudes.
Oh, dude, he puts his money where his mouth is.
Yeah.
He says, "Fuck you. What's mine is mine. Come and get it." He throws his bowling ball, hits Flea in the stomach.
Yeah, which like probably would kill a man. You know, like that's a good.
Dude,
I'd be surprised if you didn't shit part of your intestines out if somebody like underhand pitched a bowling ball into your abdomen.
At a minimum, you're gonna break a few ribs,
dude. At a minimum, you might lose an organ. Is more like what I'm thinking, but
your spleen just explodes in your body.
Yeah, dude, like a gusher.
He tackles another nihilist and just bites his ear fucking clean off.
Goodbye.
And then he spits it straight up into the air.
So we see Walter just fully uncaged here.
Dude. Yeah, his Vietnam self comes out that he's been repressing all these years.
That he's really wanted to let out there.
And then Donnie dies during the encounter.
It's a heart
attack.
Heart attack.
That's sad. And it's interesting because Steve Buscemi's character dies in every Coen Brothers. I want to say he's in at least like 6 Coen Brothers films. He dies in every one.
Always dead.
He always dies.
Dead meat. You know it.
Kind of fun. But yeah, in the kind of epilogue scene, they scatter his ashes into the wind.
After Walter goes on, he transitions the eulogy into a Vietnam War diatribe, and then he proceeds to release the ashes into a fucking headwind that blasts he and the dude in the face with Donnie's ashes.
So fucking good. And he says, "Goodbye, sweet prince." It's just so fucking absurd.
It is an absurd film. And obviously this pisses the dude off. He doesn't let Walter go, but it's an emotional moment for both of them. So they're just they hug it out after.
And here's when we get aforementioned Dead Flowers song, which is a great Rolling Stones song.
La, 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 la.
No, that's The Man in Me.
God damn, you're right. That is The Man in Me. Dude, put a bullet in my head.
Dead flowers, do.
Yep.
It's as sung by Townes Van Zandt, which, if you don't know Townes Van Zandt, fuck, he's one of my favorite singer-songwriters. He's kind of like a darker Bob Dylan-esque guy.
Braden really does like this guy. He talks about him a lot.
I love Townes Van Zandt, and he's fucking the man. But anyway, not for everybody. Really sad, sad music. Which I don't know what that says about me. Also a big Rolling Stones fan, so yes, I get excited when I hear it.
Mention, and like it's a fucking shame we're just hitting it now, but the narrator of this is Sam Elliott.
We mentioned it, but I don't think we he's credited as the stranger, and he kind of bookends the entire film, right?
And he hints at a little Lebowski being on the way.
Yeah, he gives a whole speech at the end. He says, somewhere out there, the dude abides, and I take comfort in that.
Sam Elliott was only on set for like a total of like 3 days or something like that. And just basically, he did multiple takes of the ending. So like, I mean, Tom's hat did workhorse there, man, getting it fucking done quick.
Dude, he is so good.
Sort of same with Julianne Moore. She wasn't on set for much of the filming of the film.
Like, he was not necessary, but they threw him in there. They threw that, like, it's one of those little nice, tiny little touches that makes it such an enduring cult classic, you know?
It was a good nug. It was a good nug.
Yeah, it was kind of unnecessary, but it just... It gives it that mythological status, you know? It's part of it. But that's how the movie ends.
That's it.
That's the big fucking Lebowski. We did it. This was a long episode, but there's a lot. I mean, it has a whole fucking religion. I don't know how to say it. We had to do this one justice. We tried, Flickers. We tried.
Damn, we tried.
To all the dudists out there, sorry if we've offended your religion.
I drank so many White Russians for this. It is going to be like I don't even know. I'm trying to think of the most explosive thing I can think of without being offensive, and that's.
You'd think Andrew would have channeled the dude, but I feel like he was channeling Walter.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm part Walter, part the dude, and I think I've told you that before. Like, I think that
I get it.
That is pretty much me in a nutshell. Is I'm like 50% the dude, 50% Walter,
and I'm just Donnie.
And you're just Donnie. You're out of your element, Donnie.
Donnie.
Go back to doing the research for this, Donnie.
I am the walrus.
Oh man.
Fuck, that was a good one. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed it, as always. Thanks for listening. Yeah,
hey, some exciting possible episodes in the future. If you guys like the idea of this, we're talking about doing Cronenberg's son's new movie. And yeah. I would be willing to throw out on the table, we do an in-person live recording. That's Braden and Andrew together sitting in front of you, recording live. Maybe a live stream. Let us know. If you fucking think it sounds cool, let us know. Put it on the page or Instagram or anywhere.
Koi pond included.
Dude,
hopefully.
I will absolutely make sure the koi pond is running.
Full blast.
Full blast.
Fuck. Those koi fish are going to be huge, bro. Just
it would literally
feeding
kill
them.
them to run it on full blast because they don't like their oxygen levels are sensitive. You know, like too much too much oxygen is going to for sure kill them. But that's that's whatever.
Oh man, this has been a fun episode.
It has.
Well, everyone, you know where you can find us. We're on the Instagram, Facebook. Send us an email. We're accepting
Spotify,
recommendations.
Apple
Spotify,
Podcasts.
all that shit. Well, you already found it.
But I mean, if you
Far
wanted
Out
to
Flicks.
use the other, now you know you can use the other.
You can
Any
use
of
the
them,
other
any of
one.
them.
If you are Neil Young and you need to access it on another source now, it's out there.
Neil Young, I will not Neil Young. Neil Young. Sam Neill, I will absolutely put it on a flash drive and mail it to your assistant to be screened, of course.
To be screened. We're trying to get Sam Neill as a guest. If you don't know who Sam Neill is, look him up.
Or just like listen to our archive and you'll.
We're not stalking him. We're just big fans.
We're just really big fans.
I just have multiple puppets of him as each of his characters from his different
I will
films.
take a Dan Stevens as a young British, genre actor.
Sam Neill's about to be in the new Jurassic Park movie too, by the way.
Fuck yes. I just got chills.
FarOutFlicksPodcast@gmail.com. If you got a recommendation, or even just comment on a Facebook post, we'll see it.
Dude, we'll find it. Like, you can put it on a meme post on Instagram and we'll see that shit.
It will go to committee. It will go to committee.
Yes, it will be voted on.
If your Far Out Flick is, I don't know, the new Thor movie, we probably aren't going to do that. It's not far out enough.
I think that
Sorry.
movie will be cool, but no, it's not good. It doesn't fit our criteria.
Far out is the criteria, and it's getting looser and looser by the day.
By the
Honestly.
minute.
But
all right, Flickers, it's been fucking real.
thank you all.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
Peace.